We're ready to call the regular scheduled meeting to order for the City Council, the Redevelopment Agency, the Airport Authority, the Rail Authority, the Water District, and Library Authority. Custom and habit of this council is we begin every meeting first with an invocation. That'll be followed by a Pledge of Allegiance, which tonight the invocation will be given by Councilman Mike Rothschild, and the invocation will be given by Councilman Mike Rothschild, and the pledge will be given by our Chief of Police, Captain Mark Taylor. May we stand?
Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for this, especially thank you for this country, and thank you for our community and the quality of life that you've blessed for all of us. Touch each of our minds and hearts this evening as we make decisions in your behalf and not our selfish ends. In Jesus'
name. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Personal welcome to each and every one of you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being involved in the affairs of your city. Before we go into the formal agendas, we have a special presentation tonight, a program that has involved many of you and has been spearheaded by Councilman Rudy Cabriales, and I will at this point yield the dais to Councilman Cabriales. Thank you.
Welcome to our City Council, and also a warm welcome to the families of the soldiers that we're recognizing here tonight. This program, the Military Banner Program, was adopted by the city about a month and a half ago, and it was Ricky Palacios. Here he is. He's the community member of the Victorville that came to us with the idea of the banner program. And of course, the City Council adopted the program unanimously. The program is to recognize the military from Victorville who are in the combat zones or war zones, Iraq and Afghanistan. And so we take great honor in recognizing our soldiers and not only our the men and women, but everyone that's serving overseas. So this program is possible through our sponsors. So we have many, many sponsors from the business community and also just a regular community people here in Victorville who are sending us donations to keep this program alive. So before we go into our soldiers, let me just recognize two of our sponsors, and let's give them a warm round of applause. It's High Tech Signs owner Dick Freeberg, please, and your daughter, please step forward. Dick, thank you very much for your support, and we have a plaque for you on behalf of the city of Victorville, and thank you guys for all you do for us.
Just a couple words. I was in the military and passed through Victorville back in 1952 from Nellis Air Force Base to where I was living in San Fernando Valley. So anyhow, I see one banner up there for the U.S. Air Force. That's my alma mater, and I think it was the least we could do to be able to contribute this to this great cause. It didn't exist when I was in the service, but I'm sure glad to see Victorville doing it. Thank you, Rudy. You want to say anything else?
Thank you very much, Jeff. We also have a plaque for Downey Savings and Loans. Is there a representative here tonight? At this time, we'll recognize the soldiers. The first one is Stephanie Romero. Well, and when I call your name, will you please, the families, please come up to the podium. United States Army, 17 years in the service and just returned home from Iraq after a 13-month tour. Devin, thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you back, sir.
I'm glad to be back, too.
I'm sure you are. Family over here, please. Good over here.
Well, I'm glad it's not karaoke night and everything else going. I'd like to thank everybody who's out here participating in this, and everybody's out there who's doing what they got to do in all the military branches. Air Force will talk about Army will talk about Marines, and Marines will talk about the Navy. But you know what? I've met a lot of Marines and some Navy personnel and the Air Force personnel, and when we all go out there together, it's not about what branch of service you're in. It's the flag that you're wearing on your right sleeve, and it's, hey, what you need, what do you got, what can we get you, and everything's good. Everything's been great. I haven't been shot at in about 2 months, and everything's been going good. Monica, you called me on the only day of my vacation that I got to sleep in, and you called at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd really like to thank you for that. Because after being gone, I was in service out there 13 months, and 3 months of training, the honey-do list got really long. So I'm still working on that, and as long as it's on the list, I may get it done. But I'd like to thank everybody for showing up, the city of Victorville, and everybody who participated in this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, we have Alejandro Castillo. 12 years in the United States Air Force. This is his second deployment back to Iraq. This is the family.
On behalf of my wife and myself, we'd like to thank the Honorable Mayor and the council members for recognizing our sons' sacrifice. Not only our sons, but the rest of these fine soldiers and Marines that are represented here, and their families too, because they're the ones that are sacrificing the most. Home fires burning, and praying for them. And
And next we have actually 3 cousins. We'll call the first one is Joe Blex, United States Marine Corps. He's currently serving in Iraq. The family, are they here? Okay, we have John J. Salazar, California Army National Guard, currently serving in Iraq. Oh, okay. All right. Anthony Salazar, United States Army, currently serving in Iraq. So here we have a family of 3 sons that are serving in Iraq. They're all cousins.
This is a surprise. I just got home from work. I served a long time in Afghanistan, and I'm just glad to be home. Let me tell you, great. Proud to serve. Proud of my son serving, my adopted son Joe, and I just want to thank the council for recognizing everybody who has sacrificed, and the families too. My wife should have got a plaque.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you for your service and for the sacrifice that the families are going through. Thank you. Next, we have Garrett Stevens, enlisted in the United States Army in March of 2005 and is currently in Fort Hood awaiting deployment to Iraq. Is the family here?
I'm not a man of many words. I just like to thank the city for recognizing not only our son but everybody else, and we just hope for everybody's safe return when they.
That's what we're all hoping for. Manuel Bayon, 2 years in the United States Marine Corps, in Iraq since the 20th of September 2007. Will the family of Manuel please come forward?
Years. He's in Iraq right now. He's been there for 2 months, and he'll turn 21 there in January. And we are very proud of him. Our family and our friends are very proud of Manuel. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank Manuel for his service to our country. We know you're going through a sacrifice, and mothers mothers and the spouses that are left behind are certainly going through sacrifices here. And so we thank you for your sacrifice and thank Manuel for his service.
Wait. We need a picture. Come back.
And next we have Winston S. Churchill, served 21 years in the United States Army and just returned from Iraq. He's not back yet. Okay. Well, is he on his way back? And this is the replica of the thank you, and thank Winston. Thank you. Concludes the recognition of the banners, and when our men and women return from serving overseas and they're back in the city, the banners, previously the banners were placed up on light standards, up on Civic, and they'll go out on 7th Street when we run out of room here on Civic. But when they return, those banners will be brought down and presented to the families and the members that are returning back from overseas right here at this council chamber. So again, thank you all for recognizing our service people. Thank our sponsors for the donations, financial donations that is necessary to keep this program going. And at this time, we also have from Supervisor Brad Messel's office, Representative, his field rep, Garner Morris, who also has a plaque.
Good evening. I am too a veteran of 30 years of the Air Force, Vietnam, Korea. Brad is a Marine from Iraq, and he would like to been here. He was holding off to present this, but his schedule just won't let him. So I too can appreciate anything that's recognition once you get back to America, see this ground. So on behalf of the County of San Bernardino, Brad Mitzenfeld, First District Supervisor, resolution to the City of Victorville. Whereas on October 11, 2007, the City of Victorville unveiled its first banners honoring Victorville's military population through the Victorville Military Banner Program. Whereas the Victorville Military Banner Program pays tribute to Victorville residents serving in the military by placing banners on city light posts with the name, the military branch, and acknowledgement of thanks for their service. Whereas the banner will serve to remind all High Desert residents of the dedicated men and women from the community that are serving our country. Now therefore be it resolved that Supervisor Brad Mitzenfeld does hereby commend and congratulate the City of Victorville for their recognition of our military residents through the Victorville Military Banners Program. Signed, Brad Mitzenfeld, 11 October 2007.
Thank you very much. Before I close this part of the program, I would like to also recognize our mayor, who is a former military, who was in the Army, and Mike Rothschild, who's a decorated naval pilot during Vietnam. And I myself, I'm a former Marine, so we do have a lot of support. We have support for our military. We are a military town in the sense that we did have George Air Force Base here for many years, and we're proud of our military. So once again, thank you very much. And our city manager is also a former Marine.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go into the formal agenda, or agendas, plural. The first item on each agenda is public comment. Public comment is that opportunity afforded by state statute for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council and or the redevelopment agency members and or the members of the Rail and Airport Authority, the Water District, and or the Library Board. During public comment, as a general rule, the Council will not respond. The reason for that is obvious. We don't know what's going to be said to us, and so there's no opportunity to prepare and be able to deal with whatever subject may come up. We ask you to fill out these white cards that are available in the foyer and pass them to the city clerk. That way we'll have a record so that if we need to communicate with you in some fashion, either to provide information or to advise you of an agendized date when your matter will be discussed, or to seek additional information from you, we'll have the information necessary to communicate with you. I have two cards that have been submitted under public comment, and the first card is from Norm Miller. Mr. Miller.
Mayor, council members, I have a couple items I'd like to bring up here. One was from the last meeting. I made a couple calls to the engineering department to check on those easement abandonments that were supposed to be done. And as far as I know, the people that own that property have not heard from anybody, and I have not heard from the engineering in reference to that. The second item is I'm here to speak on behalf of my wife. She wasn't able to make it here tonight, but she had a couple questions, and I'd just like to read what she had to say. And it says, with the city needing money for the paramedics, I have a couple of questions for the council. How much is the green tree being subsidized each year? How much is the door and the freight for the door going to cost for the new clubhouse? And how much to add 9 holes to the West Wind Golf Course? I don't believe these items benefit everyone, but the paramedics do. I think the City Council has their priorities backwards. I think you could do some cutting back to pay for the paramedics. Thank you, Dorothy Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The other card I have is from Judith Garjay, if I pronounced that correctly.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I feel like the Boys and Girls Club of the Victor Valley has definitely arrived to the center of the universe.
Thank you.
This is our second public comment in the last 2 weeks, and we were here 2 weeks ago to update the council on the activities of the Boys and Girls Club of the Victor Valley and our intention to come to Victorville in the form of opening a chartered National Boys and Girls Club unit at Silverado High School. At that meeting, we were requested to submit a letter requesting support from the City of Victorville, resources and support, financial and otherwise, in this effort. I'm here this evening to advise that we did submit the letter, and that was directed to Councilmember Rothschild, and that we hope that that was received, and also to thank you for the quick response. Councilmember Hunter did send out city staff to visit the club and talk to us about an additional thought that we had last week, which was the Cal Grip program and ways that we might work together and collaborate in the gang prevention area. So I'm pleased to say that Yvonne Hester was kind enough to come and spend an hour with us at the Boys and Girls Club in Adelanto. There was a request for us to make a presentation to council, and I think I'd like to defer that to the next session. It's holiday time, and make a more formal presentation of what we'd like to be doing at Silverado, and a request to also hopefully an update on financial support for the site. We appreciate it very much.
Will be agendized for the next first meeting in December.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I would indicate to you that your letter was received and it was distributed to other members of the council. And although Mr. Hunter's not here, Mr. Hunter has already in writing indicated his support for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Thank you. And just one final thing. On behalf of our board, our staff, and our club youth, we are so excited to come to Victorville. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. All right. We will move to the library board agenda, and we've dealt with item 1, which is public comment. I'm unaware of any revisions to this agenda. With no revisions and no emergency add-on items, then the library agenda would be completed. We'll go to the Rail Authority agenda. Again, first item was public comment. We've dealt with that. Second item is revisions to the agenda. I have nothing that indicates any revisions. Then that concludes the Rail Authority meeting. They'll go to the Airport Authority. We've already dealt with item 1, public comment. Item 2, revisions. I am aware of no revisions for the Airport Authority. Item 3, which is a companion item to City Council, item number 6, proposed resolution SCLAA 07007, which if adopted would authorize the issuance of the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority subordinate tax allocation revenue parity bonds, Southern California Logistics Airport Project, Series 2007, would authorize the execution and delivery of the indenture, the bond purchase agreement, continuing disclosure agreement, and an official statement approving a preliminary official statement in connection therewith. Any questions or comments from members of the Airport Authority on SCLAA 07007? And assuming there are no questions, a motion concurrent to adopt the resolution on City Council agenda, item number 6, would be in order.
Mayor Caldwell, I would request there's a very slight modification in the structure of the transaction. I'd like to invite, if it's okay with you, Danny Kim from Bond Counsel to come up and explain that slight modification, just so it's on the record.
All right. And I take it these comments would apply to City Council agenda item number 6 as well?
Both items, and I think it's actually item 5 on the City Council agenda.
It says here item 6.
It is 5.
Okay, well, we need to correct the agenda because the agenda says 6. Kim?
Oh, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. What's before you tonight are 2 resolutions approving the issuance of what was originally structured as a parity subordinate bonds on a parity with the 2006 subordinate bonds. However, since the time that the documents were agendized, we've changed the structure so that these bonds would be on a subordinate basis to the 2006 subordinate bonds, and that was necessary to maximize the proceeds for this bond issuance. The only change that's going to be made to these documents is to basically move the 2006 subordinate bonds up to a level that's higher than these 2007 bonds. And so I just wanted to make sure that the record reflected that.
Questions or comments from members of the Airport Authority? Not a motion as to both this item and now identified as City Council item number 5.
Move. Second. There before, now you've taken me away. Seconded it, and I was there. Now I'm gone. Why second?
You're not gone.
Hey, Councilmember Rothschild, yes.
Right seat?
That
is a yes vote.
Okay.
All right.
Agenda item 4 is a request to adopt a negative declaration for the construction of a new fuel farm and adopt the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and to direct staff to file a notice of determination, again associated with the Airport Authority. Questions or comments from members of the authority? Not a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second. Wiping
And
me
second.
out.
I went too fast. Okay.
We're trying to master a new voting system, so please bear with us.
All right, second.
All yes votes for the record?
Not going to click anymore until I'm all done, until Rudy's done.
Sorry about that.
I just have one question, and it can be dealt with later, but I read with great interest in the newspaper this morning. I was unable to answer the question from members of my family as to when we changed the name of Southern California Logistics Airport to Southern California Logistics, and I was unaware that we did that, so perhaps what happened?
No need to wait until the next meeting, Mr. Mayor.
Airport.
Well, we also were surprised and interested in the article in the Daily Press written by Tatiana Prophet that stated that the name of the project had been changed from Southern California Logistics Airport to Southern California Logistics something. And so we contacted Tatiana Prophet because we were unaware of any discussions of that nature, and she affirmed that no official, either elected nor staff member of the city of Victorville had discussed that issue with her.
No. Honesty is the best policy. Okay, then I won't worry about it anymore. I'll go back and tell everybody that it was a Daily Press error. Redevelopment Agency. Dealt with item 1 and item 2. Item 3 is a request to authorize the execution of an agreement for acquisition and purchase of real property located at 15514 8th Street. Approve an additional appropriation from the Series 7 housing set-aside bonds in the amount of $167,000 for the purchase, and designate the Director of Economic Development as the authorized signer for this transaction. Questions or comments from members of the agency? If not, a motion would be in order.
Gabriel, that's your motion.
No, it's not. It's already moved. There we go.
I haven't seconded. He didn't either. I seconded.
It was.
All right. Guys are messing with me.
I didn't even click it.
That's what's been happening.
That's fine.
Item 4 is a closed session. There'll be other closed session items. I will indicate at this time that we'll go into closed session for the reason enumerated on item 4 of the agenda. Will there be any add-on items to the redevelopment agency, Mr. Bortnowski?
No, we have nothing to add.
Then we will go to the Water District agenda. Again, we've dealt with items 1 and 2. Item 3 is a public hearing concerning proposed ordinance number VWD 07001, which, if adopted, would amend Section 1.1.1 of the former Victor Valley Water District Ordinance number A11204 to allow will-serve letters to be approved by the director of the district. Questions or comments from members of the district? Hearing none, a motion would be in order. Yes, I guess we will need to read the title of the ordinance.
An ordinance of the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District amending Section 1.1.1 of the former Victor Valley Water District Ordinance number A-112-04 to allow will-serve letters to be approved by the director of the district.
Wait further reading and introduction.
Second. Moved and seconded. May we vote?
Councilmember. Okay.
Item 4 is a request to award a contract to Clearwater Pipeline in the amount of $395,132 for construction of Highway 395 Phase 2 water pipeline. Questions or comments?
For approval.
Second. Seconded. Vote. City Council agenda. Again, we've taken care of the presentations, items 1 and 2. We now will go to item 3, which is a public hearing. A public hearing to hear arguments for or against the adding Section 10.04.085 to Chapter 10.4 of the Municipal Code pertaining to the maintenance of sewer laterals. Questions or comments from members of the council? Not a motion dealing with
Okay.
production and reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Victorville adding Section 10.04.085 to Chapter 10.04 of the Victorville Municipal Code pertaining to the maintenance of the sewer laterals.
Wait for the reading.
Second.
We have to open the public hearing before we vote. Invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak for or against, pro or con, on this proposed amendment to the Victorville Municipal Code. Hearing no public comment, I'll close the public hearing. Council.
Wait for the reading and move to introduce ordinance number 2209.
Seconded. May we vote? Item 4 is the consent calendar. These items have been predetermined to be routine and non-controversial. They'll be adopted with one motion unless there's a request to remove an item from the consent calendar.
Second.
Vote. Item 5 has already been dealt with. That was the tax allocation parity bonds. Item 6 is proposed resolution 07301. If adopted, it would set the time and place for a public hearing on the sewer use fee increase in an amount of $1.98 per equivalent dwelling unit per month, and direct staff to proceed with a special notice proceeding as required by law. Questions or comments from the council?
Just as a point of reference, that's about 2% a year an increase. That's pretty. It's lower than. I'll move the authorization, or I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. May we vote? Item 7 is a request to authorize the filing of a claim for local transportation funds, Article 3, in the amount of $162,571 to assist in paying for the Sycamore sidewalk installation from Hollyvale School to Cobalt Road. Questions or comments from members of the council? Not, a motion would be in order. Second. Vote. Item 8 is proposed resolution 07234, which, if approved, would approve the authorization to destroy certain records of the city clerk's office and the Victorville Water District. Questions or comments from members of the council? Not, a motion with regard to the proposed resolution would be in order. Second. Second, may we vote? Item 9, council reports. Gabriels? Rachan? I have none. Item 10 is a closed session for the reasons set forth on the agenda. Mr. DeBortnowski, Mr. Roberts, are there any additional items to add to this agenda?
No, except there's also a closed session on, I believe, item number 11 as well.
Staff has no additional items, Mr. Mayor.
Then I would inform the audience that we will go into closed session with the appropriate staff. It's not anticipated that there would be any reportable action after we conclude the closed session, but that cannot be guaranteed. You're certainly welcome to stay and see what may come out, if anything. On the other hand, if you wish to go home and enjoy the comfort of your own place and we come out and this room's empty, we will not be offended. So I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and drive safely on your way, wherever it is you're going to go. And we will stand adjourned at the conclusion of the closed session.
Going to. Hey, it's all now. No disputing it.
Marcy,
yeah.
somebody left this briefcase here.
Oh, okay, I'll pick it up on my... We're going to come back, yeah. Yeah, just leave it alone, yeah, yeah. Because Donna knows how to fix it afterwards. She knows how to move stuff.